Yesterday we spoke on the glories of Lord Chaitanya, Sri Krishna, Srimati Radhika, and finally Srila Rupa Goswami Pad. We were observing the disappearance festival for Srila Rupa Goswami Pad, also the beginning of Sri Julan Yatra. So tonight I'd like to continue on that theme. We also spoke about the glory and the legacy of Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada and Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedanta Radha Swami Maharaj. We spoke about how they served together, Srila Gurudev and Srila Prabhupada, establishing, as Swami Prabhupada would say, the house that the whole world can live in. That means, in my view, Srila Swami Prabhupada's Society for Krishna Consciousness, his international society, will be the main branch of Sanatana Dharma in the world. It already is, as far as which branch of the Sanatana Dharma culture has spread to people of every nationality and tradition. It's the first one to really cross over into the mainstream of every different tradition and really help people understand that it's an eternal principle of the soul, not just the material body. It's not our national religion of India. Although it's born in Bharat, it's eternal for every soul. So Srila Swami Prabhupada's society already is and will continue to flourish and grow in every corner of the world, as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu predicted, in every town and village. So in this way, he's building temples all throughout the world. And we also spoke about Srila Gurudev, how his legacy is helping us build temples in our heart. What is that process? What is that? That the temple outside is there to help people realize or develop or build the temple within. There's a reason we mark our body in 12 places with tilak signs, because it's marking the body as the temple. If the body is the temple, then where is Thakurji? They're in the hriday, the heart. Makes sense, right? Temple is a building that houses the Lord in the altar. So we conceive of the body as the temple. Every day we bathe, we do Atma Suddhi, purification of the mind. We put on tilak, achman. Why? We mark the body as a temple. So if this body is a temple, which is what it means to be a Vaishnav, then where's the altar? Our altar is the Hridaya Mandir. The Mandir is the body, and the Hridaya is where Thakurji is present, our Ishtadev. So to bring the lordships into the temple of the body and to worship them there, to realize their presence there, and to have connection with them there, that is also serving the legacy of our gurus. That these go together. The temple outside is to attract the public to come, and the sadhakas to practice there, that they can perfect Krishna consciousness. I'd like to speak a little bit about Krishna consciousness and the moods that go with that in the teachings of our Guruvarga. Krishna consciousness is an internal reality and the application of the body and the senses as well, but consciousness is not the body and senses, correct? Correct me if I'm wrong. When we say International Society for Krishna Consciousness, it's referring to the internal state of being. Consciousness is called in many ways, but the field of awareness is coming from the internal world. In the Upanishad, it's called Antakaran, the universe within. Lord Chaitanya, when he gave his instructions in his Shikshastakam prayers. The first 3 words of that specifically refers to cleansing the heart, which is described to be like a mirror of our consciousness, so that we can really become Krishna conscious. He didn't say taking a bath for the body. He said Cheto Dharpana Marjanam. So I want to speak a little bit about that, and it's a cultivation of the moods of bhakti. Bhav and kriya go hand in hand. So the kriyas that we perform in bhakti, actually without the bhav, they're not really considered shuddha bhakti. I'll give you an example. There's many examples, but I'm not going to spend too much time in the stories, and you're all Vaishnavas of many years, so I'm just repeating our Guru's teachings as we offer Ganga to the Ganga. There's a famous verse, Nano Pachara Krita Pujanam Artha Bandho. You can perform so many kriyas, activities with your body and senses, but if you're not doing it with a mood of love, premnaiva, without a mood of love, Krishna is not attracted. That's not bhakti. We see that in the action of externally pleasing Krishna done by, as an example, the wrestlers in the arena of Kamsa. Krishna was pleased in his chivalrous rasa of fighting with them, but they had no mood of devotion. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna speaks especially about bhakti. People have a difficulty understanding this. We must perform the kriyas, the actions, but ultimately where we realize Krishna is in the internal space, Krishna consciousness within. The temple of the body is that may we establish Krishna in the chamber of the heart. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, I am seated in your heart. Hrideshe Arjuna Tishtati Sarvasya Chaham Hridi Sannivishto. In many, many, many verses. I am here. God is here within. Not only the Sanatana Dharma teachers speak this, but the Christians will teach this as well. The philosophers, the religious philosophers will also teach this. God is in the heart. Yes, He is in every atom. Yes, He is pervading everything through His energy. But the most important place He is for me is right here. And so, how to develop our Krishna consciousness? Srila Rupa Goswami Pad, he spoke a verse that Srila Swami Prabhupada used as the principle upon which he established his society of Krishna consciousness. Very famous verse. Krishna bhakti rasabhavitamati kriyatam jadi kutopi labhyate tatra lolyam apimulyam ekalam janma koti sukriterna labhyate. That Krishna consciousness is the desire that is awakened in your heart of that deep attraction specifically towards pleasing Sri Krishna, serving Sri Krishna in favorable mood, as many verses speak about, Anyabhilashta Shunyam and so forth. Krishna Anushilanam Bhakti Rutama. What does it mean to be fully absorbed in thoughts of Sri Krishna out of a desire purely to please Him, to serve Him, to make Him happy? And how do we achieve that? So another topic we hear in this verse, the association of pure devotees is necessary. Tatra lolyam api mulyam ekalam. To become fully Krishna conscious. What does that mean? Like in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, do bhakti. What does he reference? Patram pushpam phalam toyam. Offer me something with devotion. But he says, with love and devotion. Yome bhaktya prayachati. Bhakti is a bhav, a mood. Then there's the kriya that accompanies that. If we're only doing the external activity with no Bhakti rasa, no moods of love and devotion, Krishna is not attracted. We hear from all acharyas. Duryodhan ko meva tyago, saga vidura kai, sabse uchi prema sagai. It's the famous Hindi song. That love is really what attracts the Lord, pure love. What is the definition of prem as given by Srila Rupa Goswami Pad? What is that pure love we talk about? Love for Krishna, love for Krishna. This goes hand in hand with what is real Krishna consciousness. Srila Rupa Goswami Pad says, Atmendriya pritivancha tare bole kam, Krishnendriya priti icha dhare prema nam. Why I'm referencing this, I'll tie it back to the idea of how is it, when will we actually not just mark the body as a temple, but install Thakurji in that temple? That installation, that pran pratishtha is done through Manasi Seva. That is a very high eligibility, but it still must be said. Like when Lord Chaitanya said, Kirtaniya Sarahari, always chant Krishna Kirtan. It's important as followers of Lord Chaitanya to fully study his teachings, to come to a comprehensive understanding of his recommended sadhana, practice, so that we can practice and achieve the purge and the goal. So Lord Chaitanya said to Raghunath Das Goswami, yes, continuously do kirtan. But kirtan is not just the movement of the tongue and the production of sound vibration of the holy names. Lord Chaitanya said to Raghunath Das Goswami, Amani manad hoy Krishna nam sadhalabe. That means with a mood of humility, honoring all others, without desire for respect, continuously utter the names of Sri Krishna and Braje Radha Krishna Manasa Seva Koribe. This is Lord Chaitanya's teachings. This is a high level of adhikar, but it should be understood. So I'm going to get towards a description of that meditation given by our Guruvarga as it glories for our Srila Gurudev. But first we have to talk about the principle of it. He said, Amani manad hoy Krishna nam sadalabe, braje Radha Krishna manasi seva koribe. Most people, what we call sahajiya, imitators, it's not manasi seva, it's manasi bhog. We are trying to enjoy Radha Krishna in our mind. It's not prem, not bhakti. Srila Gurudev speaks about this extensively. Trying to jump, no real mood of devotion and love and service. How can I enjoy Krishna? How can I enjoy Srimati Radhika? Radha Krishna are the objects of my enjoyment. I want to enjoy them. No sadhana, no tapasya, no vairagya. Raghunath Das Goswami is always doing Manasi Seva, but with his external behavior, what? Vairagya, patanireka. It's described like lines etched in stone, his path of renunciation. So Mahaprabhu said, continuously do Nam Sankirtan, Ar Koro Vaishnav Sevan, serve the devotees, and gradually meditate upon Radha Krishna in the chamber of your heart. Srila Gurudev taught this. He said that you should try to realize or manifest that temple here. That this is ultimately the best way to carry on the legacy of your gurus. Living legacy. Otherwise, you have the body is a temple, no altar, no deities. Temple is a temple, no bhakti. Bhakti is main. And bhakti is in your atma chittavritti, consciousness, tendency. So, what is the definition of prem? Admendriya priti vancha tare bole kam. When we talk about being Krishna conscious, for the most part, we're still in the mentality of being the subject, the doer, and the enjoyer. And our self-interest is paramount. It's almost inescapable. Our teacher, our dear Prabhuji in Radhikund, sometimes he'll joke about this. He'll give class. He says, English language, it's so I-focused. Capital I. I did this. I did that. I went to the store. I bought this. I brought it back. I ate it. This is not prem. Prem means Krishna becomes the subject of everything. I want to speak about the different rasas because Rupa Goswami Pad, in brief, Rupa Goswami Pad in his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu describes all the different rasas in Braj. I want to touch upon these different rasas and the ultimate conclusion. But first I want to develop this idea because it's very practical. What does it really mean, Chaito Dharpana Marjanam? Until Chaito Dharpana Marjanam is complete, we cannot do Pran Pratishtha of Thakurji in our heart. Not possible. Shuddha Habeman, the mind must become Shuddha, pure. Tabe Hamosh Herabo Shri Vrindavan. Then you can realize Vrindavan internally. So anyhow, Atmendriya Priti Vancha Tare Bole Kam, the desire and the action to satisfy one's own senses and mind, this is Kam, lust. Krishnendriya Priti Icha Dhare Premanam. And on the other hand, the intense eagerness, desire, like an unstoppable force, like a raging river, of the desire to please Krishna's transcendental senses, to please Krishna, that is prem. Very simple. My understanding is, which I've heard and praying to understand in practice. And from here I want to touch about a little bit about what we've heard about the nature of the spiritual world. As Srila Bhakti Rakshak Srila Goswami Maharaj would say, it's the land of dedication. This world is the land of exploitation, where we are all trying to be the center of existence and our self-interest is paramount. And it said actually for the love of the self, the wife is dear. For the love of the self, the husband is dear. For the love of the self, the child is dear. For the love of the self. Right? As long as we are, I am subject, I am doer. It said in Ramananda Rai Samvad, oh, I am doing bhakti for Krishna, but I am still the doer. This is not Shuddha Bhakti. Yat karosi yadasnasi yajdahosi rasi yat tapasyasi tat kurusva madarpanam. I am offering to you. I am this. I am that. I. This is not Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness begins where we cross over I consciousness and enter the thought of Krishna as the supreme subject. Krishna, and so on and so forth. And where am I then? Srila Bhakti Rakshak Srila Goswami just say, we want to just be the last servant. Like Lord Chaitanya taught, Gopi Bhartu Padakamalayur Dasa Dhasa Dhasa Dasanu Dhasa. This is where I am present. He said, who am I? That's what he said before we chant our Gayatri. Every day we're supposed to chant this mantra. First, all the nahams, not this, not this, not this, not this body, not this mind, not a Brahmin, not a Vaishnava, Shudra, Satriya, not a Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprasthanyas. Who am I? Who am I? Third line is all about Krishna in this verse. Naham Vipro Napi Vaisham. Third line is all about Krishna. Who? Krishna is the supreme subject. He is the supreme enjoyer. He is the center of the spiritual universe. And from that, everything emanates. Aham sarvasya prabhavo mata sarvam ivartate. Who am I? Gopi bhartu parakamalyor dhasa dasanu dhasaha. I am not the servant of Krishna. This is something that's very special in the Gaudiya lineage you find. Most other Vaishnava lineages, everyone wants to be very close to God, as close as possible. That is not our interest. Whoever is serving Krishna very nicely, we want to assist them. Whoever is the best servant of Krishna, we want to assist. Who is assisting them? Dasa, dhasa, dasanu, dasa. Lord Chaitanya would say, Toad britya, paricharaka, britya, britaseti mang smara lokanatha. O Lord of my heart, Lord of the universe, I pray to be the servant of the servant, of your servant, of your servant, of your servant, of your servant. This is our conception. for a humorous anecdote. Once this book, our Vilap Kusumanjali, which speaks about this, I was looking online on Google for it, and I found someone had posted a review on a random chat somewhere. And I think it was from England, and so I think it was books that the Ganga Matas distributed. Someone said, I found this book in a laundromat. And I opened it up and read somewhere, and they said, we want to be the servant of the servant of the servant of the servant of the servant. What is this cult?
Pyramid scheme.
You know? We want to be the 10 billion, we joke about this in New York with the devotees. We are aspiring to be the 10 billionth and one, the new sevak. And what does that mean? Even to understand, to really be that in that position, what is that? That's beyond liberation also. Now we say we are serving Krishna. This is purification, this is practice. This world service of Krishna, this is like children on a bicycle with the training wheels. This is training wheels bhakti. Bhakti begins where? Prem begins where? Age hoy mukti, tabi sarva bandhan nas, tabi se hoite pare Shri Krishna das. First, when I'm liberated from all material desires, from all false ego, when I'm truly able to give up that self-conception of I am the body, I am the doer, Ishvaro hamaham bogi, I am the enjoyer and controller. Then, tabe habe Shri Krishna das, then I become really Krishna's servant. So that is the land of Vrindavan. In Vrindavan, the beauty of that is that everyone is... I was thinking about this the other day. You know, we have our scholars here also, so I wanted to discuss this perhaps. I was trying to think of terminology because I teach a lot with people who are not familiar with bhakti. And some of these concepts are very foreign and difficult to understand. So I was trying to present it in this way, you know. Just the other day I was thinking about it. That the spiritual world is not like the material world, how we understand it. The material world, we are the subject, everything is our object, and ultimately we are the enjoyer. It's said in the spiritual world there isn't this subject, object, enjoyer, and exploitive dynamic. It's the land of pure love and dedication. So I think of it like the super subjective. Krishna is the super subjective, the supreme subjective. We don't lose our subjectivity. This is the beauty of bhakti. We don't lose our individual experience and existence, but we connect it and align it and fuse it with Sri Krishna, his interest. And in that we realize our true self-interest, because who is Krishna? Atma of our Atma, Paramatma, the super soul, the soul of our soul. There's many examples of this. That's my understanding of when you perfect Cheto Dharpana Marjanam, the purification of the heart, then you become fully Krishna conscious. Why? Krishna has now replaced your position of the self as the enjoyer. Now it's Krishna. He is the subject of my consciousness. Nirantar Krishna. It said, Aveshana, right? Krishna Chintan. To be continuously absorbed in thoughts of Krishna in a mood to serve and please him is bhakti. And then the endeavor to do that with the senses, the spiritualized senses. Beyond all material designations. That means your material ego, false ego, ahankar, everything has to be surrendered. That's also Srimad Bhagavatam definition of bhakti. Sarva upadi vinirmuktam. Once all material designations are gone, I'm not this body, I'm not this material man, woman, caste, anything. I'm only spirit, soul, mamai vangso jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana, eternal part and parcel of the Supreme. My nature is to love and to serve that Supreme Source. Ham sarvasya prabhava, that's Sri Krishna. So this is the beginning of the nature of spiritual dimension and all the rasas. When we are aligning our hearts and moods with the desire of not Krishna, because Krishna is Vishai. We're not aligning our hearts and moon directly with Krishna. How? Any very, very dear associate of Krishna. Otherwise, how will we have bhakti ras? It's described that when any pure devotee comes from that spiritual realm and they give you their merciful association, then bhakti ras can really start awakening. Real lolyam can awaken. We need the association of Krishna's pure devotees. Then lolyam can manifest. Then we can become Krishna conscious. This is a very subtle thing. When we say Chaito Darpana Marjan, purify my heart, we want to come to the stage of life that when we are chanting, doing our sadhan, the mirror of our consciousness is not, we're not looking at an external mirror, it's the mirror of the heart. So what is reflecting in the mirror of the heart? Not the self, not the ego as subject. Shri Radha Krishna. Then Nam, Rup, Gun and Leela, Krishna's form will manifest. Krishna's qualities will manifest and Krishna's pastimes will manifest here. Right? This progresses for those in the path. So yesterday we were glorifying Srila Rupa Manjari. For those aspiring and those siddhas in that path, really not for those aspiring, for the sadhan siddhas or the nitya siddhas in that path, they are so absorbed that pure Krishna consciousness reflecting in their heart is what? They're only viewing or thinking as consciousness, what is my seva, what is favorable, what is the moods of my Ishtadev. For the Manjaris, that means Srimati Radhika. That is what is appearing in their heart. There's a beautiful pastime about this. That, actually I wanted to speak about Yashoda Mata, but I wanted to conclude and tie it into the glories of Srila Rupa Manjari. If that's okay, since yesterday we were glorifying Srila Rupa Goswami. How this mood of pure Krishna consciousness is coming in the highest perfection in Srila Rupa Manjari. That she is so absorbed in how to serve and please Srimati Radhika that it's like Srimati Radhika's own experience reflects upon her heart. Not only her own experience, her own form, qualities, appearance. We see that even in this world with some really amazing sevakas. Our Param Gurudev had the appearance of Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada. Why? He is fully absorbed how to serve and please Srila Prabhupada. In that spiritual world, he is serving him always. As Vinod Manjari, when he appears in this world, Vinod, we know this history, right? He was so similar in appearance because he's so absorbed in his service to Swami Prabhupada, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada, that when his guru was attacked, he was able to change cloth. He went from white cloth to sannyas cloth. Have you heard this story?
Yeah.
How? His only thought, he's a Nitya Siddha, or Sadhan Siddha, Nitya Siddha, eternal associate, so absorbed in the object of his devotion, so tadatmik with Guru, that he is no longer, I am the enjoyer, my Guru is my life. For me, to lose my own life would be much more preferable than to have even harm come to one hair on the form of my Gurudev. So therefore, Vinod Bihari was so similar, he changed his vesh and appeared like Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada. Have you heard this history? It's here. There's other examples of this. Kuresh, Ramanujacharya is another example. So Rupa Goswami is like this, Rupa Manjari. Rupa Goswami appeared very similar to Lord Chaitanya. There's a famous verse. Priya Swarupe, Dhaita Swarupe, Prema Swarupe, Sahajha Virupe, Nijanurupe, Prabhure Karupe, Tathanurupe, Swavila Sarupe. Srila Rupa Goswami Pada appeared like second Mahaprabhu. And Srila Rupa Manjari appears like second Srimati Radhika. Only a little younger. Otherwise, we heard this yesterday, Krishna became so astonished at her qualities, her beauty, her mood of dedication to Srimati Radhika, he mistook her for Srimati Radhika. In this first verse, Vilak Kusumanjali. Where's Radha? Where does Shri Rupa Manjari end? Where does Srimati Radhika begin? You see what I'm trying to say? Chaito Darpana Marjan. The heart is so pure that only my Ishtadev is reflecting in my heart. My only concern then is their service, their happiness. That's why we say, Yugala Milan Sukadakara and Jivana Chadi Tepari. I would happily give up my life for serving the union of my Swamini with Sri Krishna. This is the special feature of the Manjaris of Srimati Radhika. Kabu Nahi, they have no interest whatsoever in meeting with Krishna. None whatsoever. This is one of the glories of the maidservants of Srimati Radhika. Generally speaking, every jiva wants to meet with Bhagavan. Every soul wants to meet with Krishna. With their form of Ishtadev, Bhagavan. Only the Manjaris have no interest. No interest. Why? So Krishna conscious that their self-interest has completely disappeared. My only interest is Srimati Radhika's interest. Why Srimati Radhika's interest? Only Srimati Radhika can please Sri Krishna to the fullest extent. That is the original purest love. So therefore they think, what is the goal of my life? Nikunja yuno ratikeli siddhai yaya libiryuktirapekshaniya tatrakshid hakshat ativala basya vande guru shri charanaravindam. That guru who is only thinking about perfecting the union of the divine couple, not my union with Krishna. We spoke about this yesterday. Many people, they are thinking of chanting Radhe Radhe only as means to an end. This is very popular in Braj. Radhe Radhe, Sham Milade, Radhe Radhe, Sham Milade. Oh, I will chant your name and by your grace I will meet with Krishna and enjoy with Krishna. Means to an end. Manjaris never say like that. No. Jai Jai Radha Krishna Jugala Milan. Arati Korene Lalita Saki Gan. I'm not even there. Lalita Saki and Vishaka are doing Arati. And my only interest is the Yugal Milan of Sri Radha Krishna. When we become that Krishna conscious, then that will manifest in our heart. See, then our consciousness is, now what is our consciousness? Srimati Radhika said to Krishna in Kurukshetra, for most people in this world, mani vane, their minds are like a wild jungle. So many material desires like ferocious animals. But Srimati Radhika says, my heart is non-different from Vrindavan. Srimati Radhika says, Andyer hdoi man more man Vrindavan. Mane vane ek kori jani. This is the nature of Srimati Radhika. That Krishna, I know you're only happy to the highest extent in Vrindavan. Therefore, Vrindavan is my heart, and I'm always serving you there in Vrindavan. Through all rasas. Srimati Radhika has no self-interest as well. You see the glory of the position of Srimati Radhika. We've been speaking about this, how Krishna asked her in disguise, why do you love Krishna? He goes here and there, meets in so many other rasas, so many other jivas, so many other devotees. For Srimati Radhika, it's so difficult to meet with Krishna. He said their meeting is very difficult, very rarely achieved. Srimati Radhika is so selfless, so loving that she's always facilitating Krishna meeting with all his devotees and all rasas. This is her selfless devotion. No interest. Sometimes, good fortune, she's able to meet with Krishna. In Braj Leela, and then, anyhow, so many things. So, we pray that stage can come where Chodata Purusha Abhiman, all this material false ego, all enjoyer mentality will dissipate and the real self will emerge. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur prays like this in his book Navadvip Bhav Taranga. He says, through service of Sri Satyanandan Gaur Hari, Lord Nityananda Prabhu, through my sadhana, when my heart is completely pure, he said, I saw my own form manifest. He said, I couldn't understand who is this at first. And he said, he refers to himself. He says, Kamala Manjari appeared in my heart. And then Guru Saki Ananga Manjari came. Then she led me to Rupa Manjari. She led me actually to Lalita Saki. Then Lalita Saki put me under shelter of Rupa Manjari and said, oh, Rupa Manjari, sometimes you should take her to serve Shri Radha Madhav, perform her sevas, tambul and chamara and so forth. Like we sing. We sang this beautiful song, right? Radha Krishna Prana Mora Jugala Kishora Jivane Marane Gati Aranahi Mora. Jivane Marane Ar Gati Nahi Mora. In life or death, I have nothing else. They are my ultimate destination. That when will they appear? Radha Krishna Pranamor. They are my pran. That means they are my life heirs. They are eternally established in the temple of my heart. Our Gurudev, when he would give Kam Gayatri mantras, he would always describe the scene of Shri Radha Krishna. I've heard this to many people he described like this. I heard it from him twice. How Srimati Radhika and Krishna are seated like he's given in this painting Seva Kunj. So this is the meditation, and he showed his own service there as well. So that is revealed in the heart. So I want to tell one quick pastime. How our Guruvarga serves in that way. What is the perfection of this mood of putting Sri Krishna in the center and Srimati Radhika in the center, all their associates in the center, and just simply trying to serve? How does that lead to its perfection? How is it that Sri Rupa Manjari is so intimately connected with Srimati Radhika that all of her experience of meeting with Krishna reflects in her heart? This is very high stage, but glorifying Rupa Goswami, Rupa Manjari should also be spoken. Srila Gurudev describes. So I'll describe this scene. But I also just want to mention before we get that, how in Braj, in Vrindavan, all the rasas are serving Krishna. Shanta, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya and Madhurya. And that this is all under the arrangement of Swarup Shakti. Srimati Radhika, through Yogamaya and through Vrindadevi. You see, Srimati Radhika is not selfish. In Vrindavan, it said, Krishna is relishing all kinds of mellows. When Krishna walks in Vrindavan, what? Chintamani, Prakara Sadmastu Kalpa Vriksha. Every particle of dust is Chintamani. Every tree is Kalpa Vriksha. When Krishna walks into the forest, Sri Jamuna Devi, it's described Venugit. Inanimate objects become animate, and animate objects become inanimate by the bliss of connection with Krishna. This is what we call the supersubjective realm. In the spiritual realm, nothing is jud. In the spiritual dimension, nothing is inert, nothing is lifeless. Everything is alive, everything is sentient. Every particle of dust is relishing the bliss of the touch and relationship with Krishna. So that's Shantaras. Dasyaras, so many devotees, but Gurudev would say in Braj, primary is Sakya Vatsalya Madhurya. The mood of friendship with Krishna, parental mood of love with Krishna, and Madhurya mood. So I want to tell this Vatsalya Lila, very interesting pastime, and it shows the progression towards the glory of Srimati Radhika. And we know the story, so I'll just hint at it. When Madhya Yashoda is breastfeeding Krishna and puts Krishna down to save the pot of milk. This is the land of dedication. She is relishing her Vatsalya love, her mood of motherly love with Krishna. It's perfect. And we hear that the milk is boiling over. And that the milk also has subjective experience. Because the spiritual dimension, everything is experiencing. Why? Otherwise, how are you pleasing and serving Krishna? There's a philosophical idea called panpsychism. I was looking into how to explain this. So Plato and other philosophers, Whitehead, different philosophers, they say that even the elements and the particles must have some kind of underlying consciousness. And in the material world, as a super soul, we could understand that. But in the spiritual dimension, even the milk is yearning to serve Krishna. Why? It's also the expansion of Swarup Shakti. So in Goloka, sometimes there's competition between rasas. Why? When the cowherd boys are meeting with Krishna, Mother Yashoda didn't want Krishna to go on Gocharan. There's a little competition between the rasas. So tonight, because Rupa Goswami Pad, he gives Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu all the rasas. So I don't want to just jump to Madhurya Rasa. I want to just glorify and just touching on it. When Krishna wanted to go to the forest with the cows for Sakya Ras, Mother Yashoda says, no, Krishna, just stay with me. Vatsali Ras. But the competition between the rasas is actually just there to nurture the lila, and it's actually pure bhakti, pure mood of devotion to Krishna. How do we see that? Because Mother Yashoda has so much love for Krishna that she even gave up her intimate association to go and save the milk. One understanding we get from our Guruvarga is that this milk, it can serve in Madhurya Rasa. Whereas the milk, Mother Yashoda is giving Krishna, is serving in Vatsalya Rasa. So I'm going from Vatsalya towards Madhurya. Mother Yashoda is breastfeeding Krishna. This is purest form of Vatsalya Rasa, motherly love, between soul and God, Bhakta and Ishwar. Purest form. But Mother Yashoda is thinking, oh, that milk that is boiling over, that can serve Krishna in so many forms. Rasgula, sandesh, paneer, so many forms. But how do these different forms of preparation serve Krishna? Through the hand of Srimati Radhika. Madhurya Rasa. So Mother Yashoda very selflessly, she is thinking only, no self-interest. I will give up my association with Krishna, which is very pleasurable to me, very pleasing to him, but there's a higher happiness you also taste. That I cannot serve him as that milk on the stove will serve him. That milk on the stove, even in Shanta Rasa, which is what we would consider less sentient, not in the full human experience of that level, right? But within Shanta Rasa, some is serving in Madhurya, some is serving in Vatsalya, some is serving in Sakya. Some is serving in Sakya Rasa, some is serving in Vatsalya. But that milk, how is it serving in Madhurya Rasa? Mother Yashoda will take it off the stove and cool it down and make yogurt or make paneer. Who will come and use it? Srimati Radhika. And when Srimati Radhika is cooking for Krishna, she is meeting with Krishna. And when Krishna is relishing what she has cooked, Srimati Radhika's moods are present there and she is able to experience that. This is very difficult to understand from a material point of view. In the spiritual world, the soul and the moods and the transcendental forms are a little bit more fluid than we're used to in this world. That Srimati Radhika expands into the preparation she cooks. And when Krishna is tasting the rasgulla she has made, she is experiencing that Krishna is like meeting with her. Our Guruvarga would say, when we take prasad thali, right? We offer to Krishna what she has prepared. Krishna relishes it, and then the devotees take it. And there's the rasa stali and the rasa thali. There's the rasa dance place, the rasa dance place, and the rasa taste plate. Rasa actually means, what is the kitchen called in Hindi? Rasoi gar, the house of rasa. That is the kitchen. Rasoi gar. Right? So the food plate is called the rasa thali. The rasa taste plate. And then there's the rasa dance place, rasa stali. You see? So Madhya Yashoda has so much selfless love for Krishna that she sets Krishna down, and first Krishna is crying. I am enjoying your Vatsalya Rasa. Because Krishna is Raso Vaisa, enjoying all relationships. Raso Dvaisa Labdvanandi Bhavati. Krishna is described as Raso Vaisa. So he is fully absorbed in this blissful relationship. And Srimati Radhika is she is Raseshwari, the reservoir of all these rasas. So this is also in one sense her expansion, her desire. But Madhya Yashoda knows, And Srimati Radhika knows ultimately the highest fulfillment of happiness Krishna will experience it and has Madhurya Ras with Srimati Radhika. We think Madhurya Ras, many people are like this, I will meet with Krishna, that is Madhurya Rasa. That's not Madhurya Rasa. Madhurya Rasa is Srimati Radhika meeting with Krishna. And her Kaya Vyuha expansions, the Sakhis, Lalita Vishaka and so forth. Manjaris are not meeting with Krishna. They are Radha Snehadika. They're Ishtadeva Srimati Radhika. They're not interested in Krishna. It said Madhurya Rasa, actually in truth, Srimati Radhika meeting with Krishna. That is Samartha Rati. Param Gurudev, Bhakti Prakan Keshu Goswami Maharaj, would say in Dwarka, when the queens are meeting with Krishna, actually it's primarily Dasya Ras. Param Gurudev, very Rasik, but very stoic, very grave. He was very bold about this. And Gurudev was debating this. It's in his Acharya Keshari book. It's a very interesting conception. He said even the queens in Dwarka, it's not real Madhurya. Their submissive wife, it's Dasyamut. In Braj only is Samartha Rati. Gurudev asked me this in 2004 in Houston. We were on morning walk. He asked many people, what is the difference between Samartha, Sadharan, and Samanjasa Rati? And no one could answer this nicely. And then Gurudev asked me, I don't know, I'm like 12. He said, okay, one day you'll know. It's a very subtle conception. Krishna consciousness isn't how I will enjoy with Krishna. Krishna consciousness means whoever is most expert at giving happiness to Krishna, let them give happiness to Krishna, let me assist them. Pure Krishna consciousness, no false ego whatsoever, no self-interest, only Krishna's interest, only Ishtadev's interest, Guruvarga's interest. Then, how is that reciprocated with? You become so one at heart that all their mood, all their experience reflects. Like Srimati Radhika is cooking for Krishna, Krishna is tasting her cooking, and she is experiencing relationship with Krishna through that. Then her dear manjaris cannot experience her. It doesn't work in a reciprocation way. First, the heart has to become completely pure, clean, but then, in due course, that will manifest. So, touching on this point, Madhya Yashoda saves the milk. So Krishna is saying, oh, look how glorious my Madhya Yashoda is. Externally, his contrary mood, he breaks the yogurt pot. This is the main thing. But then he goes and he thinks, I should also be very merciful and distribute prasadam. What is the glory of this love of Srimati Radhika and my Madhya Yashoda? So he calls not only his cowherd friends, they always are eating with Krishna in Nanda Bhavan. We sing every day in this song, Bhoga Arati song. Every day Madhya Yashoda is feeding all the cowherd boys. But not every day is Madhya Yashoda feeding the monkeys and the crows. So Krishna is saying, oh, look how generous my mother is. She's also serving just the mundane milk. People would say, what is the milk? What is the milk's subjective point of view? Why do you care so much about the milk? Madhya Yashoda cares about the milk. Krishna says, very good. I will serve all the monkeys and crows. He opens the door from the storehouse and says, come in, come in, come in. No need lines. Just jump all around me, and with my millions of hands, it's said in Upanishads, Krishna has millions of hands, millions of legs. He is the Supreme Lord, so Krishna is serving all the monkeys, all the crows. I'm not going to tell the whole pastime. We know Madhya Yashoda comes, following his footprints, chases him outside, binds him to the grinding mortar. This is where the competition of the rasas comes in. Rasa competition. In this pastime, Radharani's glories are also there. Our Guruvarga describes, Krishna's thinking, Mother, I don't mind being bound together. I'm bound to all my devotees. Ashmakam bandhava bhakta bhaktanam bandhava vayam sadhava hridayam tvayam aham bhakta paradino. I'm always bound to my devotees. But why are you binding me to this grinding mortar, this shantaras? Grinding mortar is very happy. I am bound to Krishna, very nice. But Krishna likes higher and higher forms of rasa. So Krishna is then playing with this cow. In this pastime, Shantaras, Dasyaras, Sakyavaras, Vatsaliras, and Madhuryaras are all represented in this pastime. So afterwards, why? All the cowherd boys come and are playing with Krishna. pushing the grind. Krishna makes a game out of it. He's pulling the grinding mortar. The cowherd boys are pushing the grinding mortar. He liberates the twin Arjuna trees. Nala Kuber Manigriv manifest, and so on and so forth. But we hear how Mother Yashoda became like a stone pillar, afraid when the crashing happened. Nanda Baba, we hear this whole pastime. Why? Krishna was thinking, you are binding me to the grinding border. Why don't you tie me together with Srimati Radharani? Then I'll be very well behaved, I promise. Why? Lalita Vishaka will come. All the other gopis will come. They'll keep me very well behaved. Mother Yashoda is saying, Krishna, you're very naughty, you're very restless, you're always stealing butter, doing this and that. So I'll give you a lesson, I'll tie you to the grinding mortar. So Gurudev said, Krishna's thinking, Are, no problem binding me, but you should bind me with Srimati Radhika. So therefore, in this month coming up, we celebrate Radha Damodar Brat. Krishna also, then he said, no. After he got freed and everything, and pacified, Nanda Baba fed him, they went to the Goshala, he took laddu and milk, then he came back, we have this pastime. Balaram was sent to pacify him, bring him to Mother Yashoda, he kicked Balaram. Balaram rolled far away. Then Rohini came and said, what if Mother Yashoda? And Krishna began crying, and ran into Mother Yashoda's arms. They're both weeping and weeping and weeping. Then they had prasad together. That night, after everything is calm and peaceful, Krishna's laying in bed then. Krishna goes out the window, stands under the tree, calls his dear friends, meets with Srimati Radhika, then he becomes Radha Damodar. Then he's very happy. Yes, I should be Radha Damodar. So this service ultimately is serving Srimati Radhika, serving the servants of the servants of the servants of Srimati Radhika. This is the highest possible destination for the jiva. No one can please Krishna more than Srimati Radhika. Krishna is ultimately, that Srimati Radhika is that only person who is able to completely capture and captivate Krishna's heart. She is Madan Mohan Mohini. So therefore, our Guruvarga is thinking, how can we serve Srimati Radhika? Actually, they become so, what we would say, Krishna conscious, that they forget Krishna consciousness and become Krishna conscious of Srimati Radhika. She becomes subject. Krishna becomes Ashray, she becomes Vishay. We just touched on this last night. The seeds of this are in Gita Govinda, verse 10:8. Smara Garla Kandanam, Mama Sirisi Mandanam, Dehi Pada Palamudharam. That Krishna bows at the feet of Srimati Radhika, offers his crown at the feet of Srimati Radhika, offers his flute at the feet of Srimati Radhika. And this same scene is represented by our Gurudev. He said, my heart is that Seva Kunj scene. That's Gita Govinda scene. That's Smara Galla, that verse of Gita Govinda 10.8, where Krishna takes shelter of Srimati Radhika, that's represented in the Seva Kunj pastime. Krishna's sitting there, and his flute is at Srimati Radhika's feet. This is like described to be the penultimate scene, and then Krishna will, take the dust of her lotus feet. So for the Gaudiya Acharyas, for many in our line, in the line of Srila Rupa Goswami Pad, the 6 Goswamis, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Srila Narottam Das Thakur, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Srila Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada, Srila Param Gurudev, Srila Gurudev, primarily our Acharyas in the Rupanuga Swarup Damodar Swarup Rupanuga line, they have this mood. Not Krishna consciousness, Krishna consciousness. That how will I assist Srimati Radhika in her service to Krishna? This is the topmost Krishna consciousness. I'm not qualified to directly even assist her. I'm not qualified to directly assist Rupa Manjari. I will assist Guru Pada Padma. And I'm not qualified to assist Guru Pada Padma. I will serve those who are intimate servants of Guru Pada Padma. Dasa dasana dasaha. This is our mood. So this is how we gradually go up to that stage. So I'm going to tell this final pastime. I'm still within my hour slot. We begin this Cheta Darpana Marjanam process. That's why Mahaprabhu said, Kirtaniya Sadahari, Trinadapi Sunichana, and so forth. Srila Rupa Goswami practically explained how this is possible. And he first said, Pratamam Guru Padashray. Tasmad Krishna Dikshadi Shikshanam. Sadhu Vartmanu Vartanam. Krishna Adi Priksha. Ask, inquire. Follow the footsteps of the Acharyas. Render service to Guru. So when your heart first becomes one with Guru, Guru Mukha Padma Vakya, by making his teachings, his word one with your heart, and then his interest and his desire one with your heart. Mano Bishta Seva. Let his heart's desire be my heart's desire. Gradually he will lead you forward, further, until you are qualified to really manifest that altar in the temple of your heart, where Shri Radha Krishna will be present and perform their pastimes. And then they will very kindly, lovingly invite you into their service. Please come. They will send, Lalita Saki will arrange, Ruparati and Guru Parapadma, Guruvarga will say, oh, now this person is qualified. No more false ego, no more ahankar, only how to fully please Sri Krishna through rendering service to Srimati Radhika, assisting her in her pastimes with Sri Krishna. There's a service, that's what the manjari service is so high that when Srimati Radhika is in man from Krishna, her manjaris help tame Krishna. Srimati Radhika's man can be, if Krishna has the chance, this is a seva the manjaris will have, that Srimati Radhika will not take herself. Krishna is so charming, if he has a chance to come directly to Srimati Radhika, he can break her man, mostly. So the service of the manjari, how are they doing Nikunja Yuno Ratikeli Siddhai? I'm going to describe this scene to glorify Rupa Manjari now Guruvarga. Gurudev himself published these teachings, so praying to his lotus feet will describe this scene. But those kinkaris of Srimati Radhika, because they have fused their consciousness with the moods and the desires of Srimati Radhika to please Krishna, they have no more self-interest. They have achieved that super subjective realm where I am no longer subject and enjoyer and object even. I am only servant of the servant of the servant of the servant of the servant. So Radhika has full faith in them. And when Radhika has man for Krishna, contrary mood, and she will not let him come near her, then she will post many centuries, many layers of guards, all her kinkaris. And that when Krishna will try to come and enter and speak with her, they will chastise him. They will rebuke him. They will do that service that no other bhakta can do. You find anywhere in Sastra, a devotee of Krishna will chastise him, call him Durta, call him Lampata, and Krishna will hold his ears and bow at their feet. Any example in any Sastra like this? Prabodhananda Saraswati Pad says, I want to be a stick in the broom that sweeps the kunj where Srimati Radhika is present. Why? Because her maidservants are so powerful, so able to serve her, to perfect their pastimes. When Srimati Radhika is described as Swadina Bhartrika, that means the lover in the controlling position, controlling mood. Krishna becomes submissive, dear Lalit Nayaka. Very sweet, very charming, but submissive to Srimati Radhika. How? Radhika has millions of manjaris. Krishna has. Krishna's sakas don't have that expertise. And Krishna cannot do it. We hear ever Krishna is in man from Srimati Radhika? He sometimes may pretend, imitate, but he has no way to enforce it. Srimati Radhika's manjaris are enforcers. Krishna comes to the entrance of the kunj. We see this. Gurudev showed this. 4 manjaris, right? He's painting. That means this scene is after Krishna got forgiven, after he became submissive, after he had a service mood, after he's forgiven, then they let him in. Before that, Krishna is very humble. Please, can I come? Please, can I serve her? Please, please, please. And they cannot be controlled by Krishna. Why? No self-interest. Not able to be charmed by Krishna. Krishna can charm the entire universe. Everyone except Srimati Radhika's kinkaris. They cannot be swayed by Krishna. Even though they have Krishna Priti, Krishna Rati, love for Krishna, attraction to Krishna. Cannot be swayed. Impossible. So therefore, as we develop those moods, full Chaitodarpana Marjanam, full perfected Krishna consciousness in this Rupanuga line is when that day comes where Srimati Radhika, Shri Madhav, Krishna will accept us as their sevak of their sevak, servant of the servant, and bring us into that seva. Then the temple of the body is successful because Pran Pratishtha will be established. That is to serve the legacy of our gurus, because Param Gurudev said this: if one person achieves Swarup Siddhi, then the line continues. This is what Param Gurudev would say. Without Swarup Siddhi, perfection of your Atma, your perfected soul, until the form of your soul manifests in your service to Radha Krishna, then your life is still just Maya, inert, Jad. False ego, ahankar, asat trishna, hriday durbalya, all these anarthas will be there. Why? I am the enjoyer, I am the controller. That Swarup Siddhi will not come. And Param Gurudev said, without that Swarup Siddhi, the Parampara will not continue. Someone must achieve that. If one person achieves that in the world, the Parampara continues. Otherwise, the line becomes broken. That's what Param Gurudev would say. One person at least. That Pran Pratishtha. So Gurudev describes that. He said, beautiful book, Sankalpa Kalparudruma. I'll just cover the first 12 verses in very brief. So as we do our sadhanas, this we should think for Gurudev. Gurudev is perfected in this. We pray, Radha Saki Sangani Vasinam. Gurudev is serving in Gaur Leela, also Radha Krishna Leela. So Gurudev is described by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur how he's serving Radha Madhav. Said when Krishna, he wants to come meet Srimati Radhika. This is the mood of the Kinkaris. Not that Radhika will go meet Krishna. Krishna wants to come meet Srimati Radhika. And Krishna will go and wait. So Krishna will go and he will wait. Then Srimati Radhika's dear associates or Kinkaris or friends, we can think, our Guruvarga, they will bring Srimati Radhika when he is ready for Krishna. So how do we meditate at this? First, Krishna reveals himself in the heart. Krishna says, I am present in the heart of every jiva. For those who have that attachment to the service of Srimati Radhika, then they will invite Krishna. Krishna will be in their hearts. From Paramatma, he will manifest as Brajendrananda Sham Sundar. And then they will welcome and invite the Guru Varga, and they will invite Srimati Radhika. Then this meditation I have 4 of these books here. This meditation is not external meditation. This is in the Hriday Mandir. This is what Gurudev describes. This is Krishna consciousness, right? Krishna consciousness means the internal reality is manifested. That's what consciousness is, the antakaran. So, it said Krishna is waiting. Krishna first comes from his house to the Kunj, and he is waiting, Krishna Kunj. And he's praying, oh, when will Srimati Radhika come bless me? Not that Srimati Radhika is coming to Krishna. He should be waiting for her. That's the example. That Krishna should be waiting. Forever if necessary. Only when she is happy with him, she'll come. So it said then, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says in first person, oh, when will that day come when I will achieve your service? By your grace, when only your interest is in my heart and mind. No personal interest. Only how to serve you in pleasing Sri Krishna and how to perfect your pastimes, your service. Then you allow me to bring you towards Krishna. And we can say this is every day Srila Prabhupada would sing Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. People think this is so high. But Prabhupada sing it every day, every class. It's very high, but it's also fundamental. Right? And this is for our Guru Varga, it's not to imitate, but it's fundamental. Vaidhi Bhakti, Rag Bhakti, fundamental. So, all our Goswami literature describes this. So, Srimati Radhika, as she is going to meet Krishna, she has Kila Kinchit Bhav, contrary mood. So she stays outside. And Krishna has to come out of the Kunj, and please come, O Radhe, please come, Shri Radhe. And Srimati Radhika is contrary, looking away. And so it's said that Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, oh, I will bring Srimati Radhika a little closer, and pray, oh, please, just give Krishna one glance, no problem. It said Srimati Radhika, like her eyes closed like a lotus, from a fully blossomed lotus to lotus bud. She, just from the sidelong glance, she'll look at Sri Krishna and pierce his heart. Krishna will begin to tremble. And then it said that Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur says, and Gurudev writes his commentary, it's actually for all sadhan siddhas. It's like a manual for sadhan siddhas. So Chakravarti Thakur says, oh, I will place Srimati Radhika's hands around Krishna's shoulders, and Srimati Radhika will chastise me, and I will fall at her lotus feet and beg forgiveness. With joy in my heart. Why? Srimati Radhika is happy, Krishna is happy. But Srimati Radhika has her contrary mood. Then I will tell Krishna, Srimati Radhika will try to leave Krishna, and he will say, no, Krishna, you should very tightly embrace Srimati Radhika. Then you're Radha Damodar. You should hold Srimati Radhika so tightly that then you are bound. Radha Damodar. Not Yashoda Damodar, not Dam Bandhan Leela, Shri Radha Damodar Leela. Krishna, you should hold Srimati Radhika very nicely. Then it said, like we see the Seva Kunj painting, Shri Radha Krishna will sit on their seat, and it said, Chakravarti Thakur says, I will sit outside and I will very gently fan the divine couple. People think, oh, this is so high. What is so high? It's very simple. This is the purest form of bhakti possible. No self-interest, only how Krishna will be happy meeting with his beloved Srimati Radhika. Where am I? I'm sitting outside the kunj. Chakravarti Thakur says, I will pull on the rope. And inside the kunj, there will be a fan that is fanning the divine couple. And I will listen as they are laughing and joking and speaking very sweetly. And as I am fanning the divine couple, then Rupa Manjari, Rati Manjari, Karpura Manjari, Kastura, they will all come and will prepare tambul. We sing this. If this is so high, then why do we sing this song? It's very high. But for sadhakas, after many, many years of sadhana, we should come to this. We sang this song, right? Tambula seva, Karpura seva, all this seva. So Chakravarti Thakur says we will prepare these different articles for the service of the divine couple. And after they are in their very sweet, loving pastimes, we will go inside and render service to them, decorate them very nicely. It said this is the evening pastimes. Chakravarti Thakur says this is the beginning of the evening pastimes. Radha Krishna will meet, and then they will be dressed nicely by the manjaris, and then they will go out for Ras Leela. So it said as they will come inside after their meeting, and they will very nicely do Shringar. Very nicely give ornaments, give decoration to Radha and to Krishna. And Radhika will be dressed so nicely that Krishna will want to go and embrace her, and the manjaris will very strongly chastise Krishna. Durda, don't come near Swamini. She is now very nicely dressed. You can go and perform your dance. At that time, it said Lalita Sakhi will enter the Kunj. Because at that time, the Sakhis, like Lalita Sakhi, can enter. Only Nitya Sakhis, Pran Sakhis can serve when Radha Krishna are in their Yugal Vilas. So Lalita Sakhi will enter and see that Radha Krishna are all very nicely dressed. Radharani's garland is very nice, necklaces. Before, Radha Krishna are laughing and joking and sweetly performing their pastimes. Their garlands became disarrayed, the decoration, their hair became undone. Krishna's turban may have some, thing. So it said Lalita Sakhi came and she thought, oh, I will tease the divine couple about their meeting. But she saw they're dressed very nicely, and she had a look on her face of astonishment. And so it said Krishna, seeing the face of Lalita, her astonishment that, perhaps the divine couple did not meet. Krishna will say, I was trying to meet with Srimati Radhika, but this villain, and he will point to Srimati Radhika's kinkari, this villain was very strongly, aggressively chastising me. And it said, hearing this, my heart will be overwhelmed with joy. So in this way, the divine couple will go towards their Ras Leela to meet with all the different gopis and dance and sing very sweetly. Vaishnavas, they describe this. Our Pujapad Prabhuji and Radhakrishna said, this is the purest of the pure. There is no contamination. This is just sweet interaction of pure love. This is only material understanding. This is what is good, what is bad. This is all rubbish. It said, Kama Vyakti Kamaya Jagat. Lusty person sees everything as lusty. Atmavan Manyate Jagat. There's nothing more pure than this. We all chant to Radha Krishna. We chant Hare Krishna. Prabhupada established Krishna consciousness movement, and then he gave everyone Japamala and said, chant Hare Krishna. Chant in the streets, chant sitting down, chant in the temple, chant on your beads, chant 16 rounds in the morning, then go out and do Harinam, chant the Japa. In New York City, they do 6-7 hours of street Sankirtan. We go and serve and help them there. What is this Mahamantra? This Mahamantra is only serving the union of the divine couple, nothing else. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram. How can Radharani not experience separation from Krishna? How can she meet with Krishna? This is the essence of that mantra. That Radhika herself chants Hare Krishna, and she's praying, Krishna, you perform such sweet pastimes with me. Why have you left me? Please meet with me. And as she's chanting this Mahamantra, Krishna cannot hold himself back. He will come and meet with her. So why are we chanting this Mahamantra? Only that we may serve and assist the Those who are fully qualified to perfect the meeting of Radha Krishna. This is our only consideration. As Gaudiya Vaishnavas, our only desire is make Krishna enjoy the pleasure of his relationship of love with Madhya Yashoda, Vatsali Ras, and Nanda Baba, and with his cowherd friends, Madhu Mangal, Sudam, Sridham. That make Krishna be happy with his dearmost eternal associates. Not, I will be happy enjoying with Krishna. Then I am the enjoyer. And the highest, like why I mentioned this Yashoda Damodar Leela. Because in this Yashoda Damodar Leela, Srimati Radhika's glories are also hinted at. And Satyavrata Muni, who gives this prayer that we sing every day for a month in Damodarastakam, how does he conclude the prayer? Namo Ananta Leelaya, Namo Radhikayai, Twadiyai Priyayai. That same verse he talks about Dambanda Leela, right? Says, oh, I give pranam to that rope that bound Krishna to the grinding mortar, that held the love of Madhya Yashoda. I give pranam to it. Like, I give pranam to Vatsali Ras. But what is highest? Namo Radhikayai, Twadiyai Priyayai, Namo Ananta Leelaya Devai. Ananta Leela, Ananta is also a thread. Vaishnavas describe this. If you read the commentary, Damrastakam. Madhya Yashoda tied Krishna with, first he tried to use all the thread in Braj. All the rope, all the thread, and it was always short. Why? Krishna wants to relish Madhurya Ras. You're going to bind him with a grinding mortar? You're going to stop him from meeting with Srimati Radhika? Not possible. But Krishna, seeing his mother's love, his heart melted, he allowed himself to be bound, but temporarily. But Namo Radhikayai Twadiyai Priyayai, all glories to Srimati Radhika, your dear most beloved. Namo Ananta Leela. That Ananta Leela, that's the thread of Radharani's pastimes with Krishna, how she is binding Krishna. Ananta Shesh, she is also like binding. Rupa Goswami says Srimati Radhika's braid is like a beautiful black serpent. Namo Ananta Leela, with her braid, she's binding Krishna. Said this is Seva Kunj. You know, sometimes the manjaris will tie Srimati Radhika's cloth with Krishna. This is Radha Damodar. Actually, in Radha Damodar in Vrindavan, they'll do like this. They'll tie Radharani's cloth with Krishna. So yes, these are very high subject matters, extremely high, and we should never imitate. But we are worshipping Radha Krishna on our altars. We are chanting Mahamantra. We're talking about Krishna consciousness. This is the service of Radha Krishna. You know, Swami Prabhupada established temples with Krishna Balaram. Some places, not so many. Established everywhere Gaurni Thai, because without shelter of Lord Nityananda, Radha Krishna Paitinai, without shelter of Lord Chaitanya, we can never enter Braj Ras. Gaurni Thai is everywhere. Jagannath Baladev Subhadra is everywhere. Most prominently everywhere, Shri Radha Krishna, Radha Shamsundar, Radha Madhav, Radha Govinda, Radha Gokulananda, Radha Landaneshwar, Radha Perisishwar, Radha Parthi Saratiyeshwar, Radha Unlimited, Radha Madhav, Astasakis in Mayapur, which he said this is my real center, and Vrindavan, Radha Shamsundar, Liliti Vishaka. So we pray to our Guruvarga. May we worship our Guruvargas who are present in that position. May we hold that in our head. How we can always please and serve the divine couple, Shri Radha Madhav, Gaur Premanandi.